African Americans are 2 times more likely to develop Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia, but least likely to be treated early stages. But for the Black community, we are in communities where there are food deserts, where there are hospital deserts, where the pollutants are very high, unsanitary and unclean water. And we do know now that approximately 1/3 of the dementias that we do see could possibly be prevented with lifestyle changes. So eating well, exercising, going to the doctor regularly, mitigating those factors that develop into chronic illnesses. But if you're in communities that don't have access to those particular factors, then really your chances of reducing your risk becomes slimmer and slimmer and slimmer.
Dementia and Alzheimer's, it's affecting more and more Black people every year in the United States, and are getting diagnosed at later stages than their white counterparts. Why is that? I'm Rosemarie Havsom. I'm back again to let you know that you can take full control of your life, but it's by what you choose to put at the end of your fork. So let's get into it. A lot of information is coming out now about dementia and Alzheimer's and how it's affecting the Black community in the United States more than ever before. And we're seeing many trends that are happening about that. The problem is that it's affecting women more than Black men. If you're being a strong Black woman, you are twice as likely to develop a problem and a disease like dementia and Alzheimer's. So let's roll it back. The problem is we have a lot of generational trauma that's not being addressed or even recognized a lot of time. We've seen the memes about the angry Black woman, the Black woman who goes on a tirade, but we've never seen the flip side of it, where it shows that a lot of anger hides a lot of hurt. The problem with this is that we're not expressing the hurt. We're not expressing the feeling that really is the issue. We're expressing something that's a quick fire, reactionary emotion. And stress directly relates to Alzheimer's and dementia because of what it does to the body. And if you are someone that has experienced trauma in your lifetime or has been a victim of generational trauma, then the stress levels that you are under will show up in things like generational high blood pressure, generational type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, and generational obesity and morbid obesity. We don't really think about our brains, and that's probably because we can't see them. But the damage is being done if we don't really start to take control of what we're eating. And that's especially when it comes to brain health. We're seeing that Americans are developing dementia and Alzheimer's at alarming rates, and they're being diagnosed at later stages of Alzheimer's and at earlier ages. But the number one thing that we need to look at is avoiding ultra-processed foods. They have a damaging effect on the brain. Scan the QR code to find out what kinds of foods are best for you to eat and what are best to avoid to protect your brain health. And if you want to talk to me, I'm a certified holistic nutritionist. I'm here to help you reverse type 2 diabetes and help you to prevent preventable chronic illnesses and not just manage them. Scan the QR code for more. These are the body's response to stress and trauma. And if we're not even taking the time to relieve the body of this stress, it then will not only turn into a chronic disease, but it can also turn into Alzheimer's.
Every 66 seconds, somebody gets the disease.
And lately, there is one group that is rapidly growing in this population.
We know that Latinos and African Americans are at greater risk.
The problem is that many in that population don't know it.
They are shocked. And how can Alzheimer's be the 6th leading cause of death? How does it lead to death? I mean, that's a shocker.
So now the team here, which has been focused on raising awareness in all populations, also continues to fund new research. And now in this population, they're trying to find out a little bit more about how much of that is lifestyle related and how much of that is actually genetic.
I think there may be a little bit of both.
Dr. Ronna Schatz and Trudy Gillard are part of a memory research team who say cultural barriers may be getting in the way of preventing Alzheimer's in this population.
I think Black women in particular are very strong women, and we value our independence. So when there's a health condition or something like memory loss that has the stigma of taking things away from us, it's frightening.
And now for women who were always there, who are holding down families as single parents, and who have to play the role, or they think they have to play the role of mother and father to their children. And all of the stresses from work and just their environment and raising children in this challenging time, this can lead to Alzheimer's down the road. And a lot of it is because of, if you have stress and you're not managing it, your blood pressure is going to be high. If your blood pressure is going to be high, then it's going to be stressing your arteries and your veins, especially the ones going to your brain. If you don't have good blood flow, that can turn into not only high blood pressure, but it can turn into Alzheimer's because your brain is starved for blood flow that carries the nutrients that the brain needs. Another type of the brain being starved is through type 2 diabetes. If over the years and years and years, you're not addressing your type 2 diabetes by changing your lifestyle and what you're eating, your brain is again going to be starved and it's going to be inflamed. And this inflammation in the brain robs the brain of its ability to function properly. And you may not see it right away. It will take decades to show up. The same thing happens for high cholesterol, and the same thing happens for obesity. These issues that are chronic diseases, and these are all lifestyle affected diseases. These are all going to impact your brain and how your brain functions. And that there is the key. A lot of women have been known to hold on to trauma, to hold on to bitterness and unforgiveness, and this can lead to the body being constantly in a state of stress where the cortisol hormone is always on. Instead of it being in urgent matters, cortisol over a long period of time can wear down the body. It can even wear down the energy glands of the body, which is the adrenals, which look like hats on top of your kidneys. If the adrenals go down, your entire body can go down. But for those who have managed to dodge that bullet, the problem will arise in later years. And unfortunately for Black women especially, these deficiencies are showing up in younger ages. So before it would be somebody over the age of 60 or 65 or 70, and we're seeing it in women as young as 40 and 50 years of age. And that is something that is very disturbing and very scary. We have to pay attention to our brain health. We have to learn how to breathe deeply and learn how to move our bodies, exercise, drink water, take care of your stress. If you believe in faith, if you have a faith and you believe in God, then lean on that. If you don't, then lean on what works for you. But we have to cut back on the foods that are detrimental to our mental health. And that is ultra-processed foods and highly inflammatory foods that are chemicals more than anything else. It's time to get real with ourselves. Your job doesn't care about you. Your hustle culture does not care about you. What matters most is that you put your health as a priority on your list of priorities. We've seen so many times that people don't pay attention to things like mental health until there's a breakdown, until the body is so overwhelmed that all it can do is shut down. Before we get to that extent, let's remember to release stress. One of the best ways of releasing stress is through exercise. The other one is through deep breathing. Another one is through good quality sleep. All of these are important to relieve the stress so that it will not show up as dementia and Alzheimer's down the road. We are in a fight of our lives. You have to fight for your life to have good quality of life. And a lot of times it's about educating yourself about the foods that work for your brain and support your brain, such as omega-3 fatty acids. That is such an important element for your brain health. You can find that in fatty fish, especially in salmon, if it's wild caught only, not farmed. And you can find it in sardines and mackerel, as long as there's not a lot of salt added. These foods are important for your brain to survive. And in this world where it's filled with toxins just about everywhere you turn, and chemicals and off gases, we need to protect our brains. So let's look into the best way to protect our brains and the best way to protect ourselves and our family legacy. What do you think about brain health and dementia and how it affects Black women more than any other group? Do you think the strong Black woman is a problem, or do you think that it's something that's positive that can actually do much for our society and our communities at large? Put it in the comments. Let's start the conversation. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And remember that I too have a YouTube channel. That's Havsom, spelled Hav for Victor, SOM for mother. We'll continue the conversation there.